SPconvo, 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 baby. Let's do it. Yeah, yeah. Back with another one. Getting everything together. It's immigration. It gets better and better for those who's against immigration. Immigration, it gets harder and harder for those who are trying to seek. It's an up and down game to this. America continues and the immigrants pour into the country, you don't have an America. What you have is a mall, a large mall with different stores and shops with different nationalities, and everybody's producing what they know how to produce. And the strain and the stress is on the structure of the mall. The strain and the stress, the lawsuits, the injuries, the insurance claims. Hear me out. A mall is just a large warehouse, right? Of different stores and franchises. But whoever gets to rent that space get to do what he or she wants. So let's make a thing called weight. Let's say each shop is only allowed to hold a specific amount of clothing or furniture, right? The weight. But let's say you have a person that come from a different country that enters America, own their own shop, and the way they handle their weight distribution is, let me put a dresser here, right? Two lamps. Let me build a shelf with a whole lot of article of clothing, right? Not that clothing weigh that much, but clothing weighs a lot. The next shop may have bedding, but they may have a standard where you're only allowed to have 10 large beds, two dressers, 10 lamps. But if somebody come from India, they going by how in their country they'll put 20 large beds, no dressers, no lamps. But depending on where those beds was built and what they're built of, may add a lot of stress. So the shop next door is standard, going by American rules and regulations. The store owned by the Indians may have a different feel to it. Over time, when the building engineers come to check, they'll see, oh, there's more, this got cracks, it got dents, there's a lot of stress on it. We got to figure out where's it coming from. And after they do the investigation, it's not coming from the shop that have the American standards. It's coming from the shop next door that had the foreign people utilize it. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you don't get these people out of here, the structure of America is gone. The structure is gone. The identity is gone. Donald Trump is well aware of this. Donald Trump is well aware of having too many people with different understandings and a different way of doing things into the country, because they're not going to assimilate to the ways of the land that they're on. They're going to go by where they come from, because their mindset is, It worked for me in my country thus far. Why not? Why not continue to do what I know best? That's just being nice about it. On the other end, people take advantage of America. They take advantage of the system. It's easily set up for foreign people to survive, make their money, and send it back home to their country, taking all the resources away from this one particular group of people, the Americans. The white Americans that are poor and the black Americans that are poor. Those are the group of people that will be left out in the cold in the country that's theirs, in the country that their ancestors fought and bled and died for already, through wars, through putting in manual labor to build the nation. Those would be the same two groups that the rest of the world will stand on until that straw will break the camel back. Now, Donald Trump is putting his foot down and letting it be known that he loves America and he loves Americans. He loves his people of his country. Now, I'm not a Republican, nor am I a Democrat. I just listen to what the man say, and I observe what's been going on for the past 10 years. And I watch a lot of other channels and news panels. And then you got this TikTok where people just flip their camera and video record anything that interesting. And you see how people talk inside the comfort of their own homes. Most of the immigrants can't stand Americans or the country itself. They don't like it. But they're able to do what they want to do is why they love it. But Trump is putting a stop to it. Don't take my word for it. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. Well, before I get into that, let me get into this. Donald Trump is aware of where this country might be headed if he don't put this in motion.
Positive spin on the United States if I'm president, because we have a country that's not respected. We're very down. The United States is very down. We don't have good news anymore. We don't have victories anymore. So,
And this was right before he got elected for president. So he been had his finger on the post. On the post, sorry. He knew where this country would be headed if he didn't get in office. He understood. He know the assignment.
I would certainly want to promote the United States as a great place. People are laughing at us all over the world. They think we're stupid, and we are. I mean, we're being led by stupid people. We're being led by people that don't have a clue. They're incompetent.
One other question about that quote. You said, "I'm no different from a politician running for office." Have you considered yourself a politician? Because you're out there saying that you're not.
I became a politician a few months ago when I decided I never did this
This is several
before.
years ago.
Yeah.
Right. You see, they want to try to include Donald Trump into something that Biden or other politicians, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, people that went to school to be lawyers, because senators and Congress are really higher paid lawyers. They law librarians. They have their education in law. So once you're in the law field, you climb up, and that's what pretty much the government is. The Congress is about lawyers. They know coding and laws, right? Okay, so Trump have to change his title from businessman to politician because he's in the world of politics. And yet, for the most part, black Americans always have been getting screwed over due to politics. Immigrants flooded the country because the American blacks want to be considered to be paid no mind and just looked upon as just the help. And once the help refused to help, they find other people to replace the help. But the 14th Amendment made those black slaves citizens. So now they get treated with some decency and some respect. So when other immigrants enter the country and they're told to stay away from black Americans, or maybe they see that for their own viewing, watching movies and things of that nature, they say, let me stay away from these black Americans because I don't want to be treated and uprooted out of my home at 3 in the morning like the black Americans was done back in the days. But something changed. The new immigrants that enter the country have no respect for neither white or black Americans or the country itself. Trump caught wind of that. He got it. So now he's deporting a lot of immigrants back home. My thing is, why are the immigrants so angry at the black Americans? Was it not the black Americans that fought for the immigrants to come to the country, thinking that the black Americans was going to be paired up with the other people of color and have some type of comradeship? It didn't turn out like that. It didn't turn out like that. So the black Americans have learned a lesson and they realize they dropped the ball. Now they're taking a back seat to all what's happening to the migrants. The black Americans and the white Americans was deceived. Having immigrants to the country helps the country out for the little things that the Americans overlook. That's true. But when the immigrants get comfortable in the country and don't want to assimilate to the rules of the country, because technically this is not their country, and they want to live in the country and get all the American benefits, but they don't want to act as if they're true Americans, that's where the problem starts. And that's where the problem needs to end. To do the things in a country that you wouldn't never able be to do the things in a country that you wouldn't be able to do in your own home country only proves that you're ungrateful. Because if I move to a new country and the country that I moved to allow me to do the things that I always wanted to do, I would worship the ground that country have, and the people that walked on that ground before me, I would worship them the same. And I would worship the black Americans because it's them that fought for people to come to the country. The white Americans have the decision to say yes or no, but the blacks fought literally and put their blood, sweat, and tears into having other people of color come to the country. What a payback the black Americans get. now. All right, listen up to this. Listen up to this.
People are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's now. People are building businesses around it from babies of slaves. And this was for the babies right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it from wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes, so today the president signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the president mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War so to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example, alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first time ever in American history to ban birth tourism. So I want you to really let that sink in. This has been something that people have talked about not only for years, but for decades. The idea that people come here pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park, but the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then have a U.S. citizen child. It gives them access under this broken system to welfare benefits, ultimately to the voting booth, and all the other rights and privileges that belong solely to Americans. So that practice of birth tourism is, as of the signing of this order, hereby banned.
If Donald Trump didn't love his country, he wouldn't have signed those executive orders. So regardless if they say Donald Trump is full of shit, he's an exaggerator, he's out for himself, yeah, he's a human being. What else is new? But overall, he's the first president since John F. Kennedy that wanted to see his country stay his country. He's the first president since John F. Kennedy wanted this country to stay this country. He wanted America to be America. Now the other presidents wanted this country to be who knows what. I say, like I said, one large mall. Maybe it may not be the right comparison, but a mall have different things underneath one structure. So that's my thing. Um, um, so with that, Donald Trump is the only person that wanted to see America be the country that used to be powerful, strong, respected, feared, elegant, the best of the best, not idolizing the less of the less. This is the only country that put outsiders before its own citizens. Every other country is not going to allow the outsider to have more than its own people because other countries don't even give its citizens that much to work with, let alone let an outsider have more than their own citizens. Absurd. So Trump got the message. Trump understand what it is. He's going to push forward, and that be that. Leave your comments if you like it. Hit the button if you like it. Subscribe if you like it. So, if you like it, do what you're supposed to do.